morning, everybody. This morning I'm going to show you this neat little recipe that I've used for many years with my children. Instant oatmeal, the kind in the little packets. Most of the time it comes flavored. You can get it plain. You can actually make muffins out of those. So whenever my kids were sick of whatever flavors were left or whatever, I would make muffins out of it. Well, I found a recipe on All Recipes, and I have used it for many years. And the author of the recipe, she uses brown sugar, the maple brown sugar flavor, but you can switch them out to any flavors you want. I've done it before. I would recommend, you got to use 2 packets per recipe. I would recommend doing full flavors on both. Don't do like one original, like a plain, and then a flavor. Don't do it like that, because it probably wouldn't be as sweet. Now, if you need somebody to cut back on sugar or something like that, that'd probably be an idea. But anyway, you don't ever know what you want to do with those little, leftover packets or whatever. This is a recipe for you. Okay? So, and the neat thing is it does have like a little streusel topping that's really easy to make that you can put on top, but you do not have to do that. So in the recipe, when you follow the link, you'll see where it's separated. You do not have to do that streusel topping if you don't want to. I've done it with it. I've done it without it. Today we're going to do it with it so you can kind of see, how to do that. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, you're going to need a cup and 3/4 of flour. I'm using self-rising to kind of cut back on all the extra things that I would have to have, like the baking powder and the salt. The self-rising already has it in there, but you can go by the recipe if all you have is all-purpose. And then you need 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. Alright, so I'm going to take a whisk and kind of whisk the flour and the sugar together. I always do this. And let me get my instant oatmeal. Today I'm going to use cinnamon roll, and I think they've already done away with this flavor. I'm not sure if you can get it or not. Usually we have maple and brown sugar all the time, but I was out today. But you could probably also use, the fruit brands. The fruit flavors as well. Alright, so that's your oatmeal, your flour, and your sugar. Kind of whisk those together just a little bit so that you've got all the lumps out. Alright, and then the next thing we need is an egg. And guess what? I don't have it ready. Let me get that ready. So 1 egg. It's supposed to be beaten, but it's okay if it's not. It's better if you do that ahead of time. And you need a cup of milk. I had to mix together some powdered milk because I ran out of milk. And I need 1/4 of a cup of oil. So get that real quick. Sure, you could use applesauce, I guess, if you're wanting to put something in it better for you, but you got to keep in mind it may flavor the muffins. Just keep that in mind. It may not. I don't know. I've never done that, but this is a very easy 1 bowl type recipe, except for the streusel topping, of course, but should be fun. Alright, and you need to have your oven preheated to 400. Now see, these are already done. Alright, so what you're going to do, sorry about that, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and mix the muffin mix up. And you can do it with a spoon. I don't see where it kind of needs, a mixer or anything like that. And sometimes I don't even get all the dry in there, and I can just mix it halfway. It's that forgivable. So what you're going to do is you're going to grease your muffin tin. Okay. So I've greased my muffin tin, and then I'm going to fill it with the oatmeal mixture. Let me get a smaller spoon so I can kind of break it off of the big one. Okay, and then what you're going to do is after you fill this, but before you put it in the oven, you're going to make your streusel topping to go on top. Now I've had it stay whole and not melt really, you know, really badly because it's going to have butter in it. And that's okay if it does. You're still wanting that flavor there. It would be nice if it was crumbly on top, but sometimes it don't work out like that. I believe one thing that's helped me with the streusel topping is to not melt the butter completely. Just soften it if you can. My butter is sitting out at room temperature right now, but I'm sure it's not soft enough. This is supposed to be 12 muffins. And it looks like I'm going to have more than that, but I'm going to try to fill up these cups, these cavities. A little bit. But my kids always love these. I don't know about now since they're older, but it's a really good breakfast muffin. More than a dessert, but it could probably be both, I would guess. Okay. Alright, so let me set this aside. And I'm going to make the streusel topping for you. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter in a small bowl, separate from your bowl that you use to mix everything with. I'm going to kind of chop it up in little cubes. Let me get my cinnamon. You're going to put 3 tablespoons of flour in here. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and it doesn't matter what flavor you use. But you could probably, these would probably work for all, but you could probably switch it out. Like instead of putting cinnamon in, put nutmeg or something. I don't know what else you would do. Okay, and then you just need 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then that's it. Alright, now it says to use a pastry cutter to do this with. She also says that you can use like a knife or something. I've always just used a fork. So we'll try to do it with the fork first and see how far we get. But basically what you're wanting to do is you're combining everything and kind of mixing the butter into it, cutting the butter into the flour and the sugar. And this is going to make your little streusel topping. And it does take a little bit of effort. Now, like I said, you can melt the butter, but it's not going to give you that crumbled effect. It's going to be liquidy. So you got to just keep cleaning off your fork and cutting it into it. It's going to take a second. Now, is all of the spices and flour and everything going to be included in it? No, it's probably still going to be a little bit powdery. But that's okay, because that sugar is going to melt as well. You just need to try to get it as combined as possible. Let me cut that off. Okay, so I decided just to reach in there with my hands and kind of just mash it together. So it's combined and it will resemble this right here. So it's all combined together. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just try to sprinkle some on the muffins, just like I'm doing. And it's just easier with your hands, but I mean, you could probably take a little teaspoon and do it with that. Some of the clumps are thick and big, and some of them aren't. And then what I try to do is kind of not mash them in there like completely, but kind of squish them just a little bit, because I kind of want them to stay put when we go to take the muffins out. Sometimes they don't. All right, so let's get all these done. So make sure you got enough for each muffin, then go back over it a second or third time until you get all of it sprinkled onto the muffins. Okay? So there you go, 400-degree oven until the toothpick comes out clean. Okay? So it should take 15-20 minutes, something like that, but you need to watch it, because this on top has got butter that can burn a lot easier. Alright, see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so these muffins are all done, and this is the ugly truth that come out of the oven. They look kind of messy, but the best thing to do, and see, these are good and loose, so I'm not going to have a problem getting them out. So the best thing to do is loosen them with a fork and take them like this and pull them out that way, and then kind of break that off, and there you go. So let me get a plate and show just a final plating. Okay, so this is one of the best ones, and it's very hot, so it's got the streusel, as you can see the little lumps and stuff like that. So it's just a real easy muffin. It kind of, you could do them in bigger muffins in the bigger cavity muffin tin. I have one of those too, but I mean, I'm gonna need more than just 6 for these. And this recipe can be doubled and tripled. It's no problem doing that either. It's real easy. It's real forgiving. And these are really good, and I think your kids will love them. So everybody have a good day, and I'll see you the next time.